Welcome, everyone. This is Pine Leaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Maven,
Hey, y'all.
and Carvette.
At your service and your families.
And this week we will begin with the news that on Monday, the servers will go down on Monday morning so that they could release 19.3.
Woohoo!
Whee!
This is
Are
the
there
housing
hooks
update,
now?
isn't it? This
Housing
is like
hooks, yeah.
this is the big
is it the
one.
housing hook?
This is
Oh,
this
okay.
is where
Yeah,
you
this
can
is the
mount
big
your
one.
chairs. This is the big one where houses will look like earthquakes have hit and chairs are poking out of walls and dressers are now on their sides
Super
and
excited.
floors are floating above where the actual floor is, and it'll be
It's
so
gonna be great.
exciting. It's gonna be awesome. You can finally have that Willy Wonka house you've always wanted.
That really walk out. Yes, that's sort of the big thing is updates to housing, especially with the hooks being able to be moved. And I'm sure a lot of people will be spending Monday doing that. And if you're a VIP, also remember that you'll have to log in within the next 2 weeks, I believe it is.
Oh, it's like a
No,
month and a half, isn't it?
Better than a month. It's
Oh, a
from
month and a-
February
Yeah.
6th through March 13th.
That's right. It's
Okay.
it's the
What
fancy
was-
steed.
What is it?
For the horse.
Fancy steed. It's an account wide.
Anniversary?
Yeah, 10th anniversary gift for all VIPs. It's a fancy, beautiful,
Ooh, nice.
white and kind of
That
gilded
steed of the
trim steed of the Eldar or Valar.
Do we get to have any of the stuff for war seeds, or is it?
Yes, it comes with all the
Yeah,
all the
horse
goodies
seats-
too.
horse seats and stuff, too.
Awesome.
So as long as you're
Very
VIP
cool.
during that window, you log in on any
Wow.
character on any server, and you get
Just
the magic
one.
present. Any one
You only have
character,
one
and you get it for account wide. It's really awesome.
Wee. Log in on, I would presume logging in on Monday morning before the servers go down, it doesn't count because I suspect
I
the
don't
update's going to
think
include it.
so.
Yeah. So I
Might be
suspect
jumping the gun.
after the update comes back up live, and then you'd have a little bit more than a month in order to log in after that in order to claim your
Plenty of
prize.
time.
I'm sure somebody who logs in on the 14th of April will, of March will say,
We'll say they didn't have enough notice, but plenty of notice.
plenty knows they sent mails to everybody and all that fun stuff.
So, question: the housing hooks is going to be just included, right? It's not going to be payment.
Right, it's just
Yeah,
included.
I think the word "pay" might have been play around with it on Monday, as opposed to pay around with it on Monday, because that L is very important in that context.
Yes, play around with the hooks on Monday. Right. So does anybody find anything else that they found interesting in the upcoming update?
Well, I'm very glad that they've gone through and they've worked out with a lot of the different NPCs who are stuck in a perpetual T-pose for their calisthenics workouts. It seems that they've gone in and they've fixed some of the posture on these particular NPCs, and now the
Or did they catch the rest of them finally?
well, Jagger Jack is specifically mentioned in the notes, so I hope that there are many of them.
Yeah, that guy's been working out for a long time.
Yeah, he's like he had a back brace or something. One too many adventurers tossing him into the rocks. He's good now though. So
Well, I'm not too sure good is a good word to use with Jagger Jack.
well, yeah, he's a bit of a jerk, but at least he's no longer a jerk in traction. So there's that. So it helps with the immersion and the smooth combat and everything else. Although I can imagine if some dude had some kind of like back brace and his big attack was just to spin and batter you with his fists and some kind of a tornado thing. I don't know. I could see maybe like a Garrodan doing something like that.
So we have Jaggernado, yes.
Jaggernado. That's fantastic.
All right. What is this? The exterior of the lecture hall has been removed in Bree?
Removed or like changed?
It
What did they
says
say? The lecture? Oh, well, probably the Gondorian look has been removed, I would guess. Either that or we're going to have an open air classroom. That'd be it.
That'd be
Class al
interesting.
fresco.
Okay.
Well, I thought it was like a door that you went through, but was it an
It
actual
is, but you
Gondorian?
can see
Uh-huh.
From the outside, you can see this Gondorian roof. They made it very Gondorian on the outside, and that probably is, this
It's
must
kind
be
of
their-
jarring if you're
This
running around
doesn't
Bree
quite
with all
fit
this
with the
It is
Germanic
jarring,
half
actually.
timber,
I mean,
and
I
then it's
gotta
like,
admit.
whoa, where'd that come from?
I mean,
We'd like to thank the
you
members.
don't necessarily see it if you're just going about your business.
Right, but you find
But if
it.
you specifically look for it, you'll see
Gotcha.
it.
It's funny because it totally makes me think of the mayor of Bree going, and we'd like to thank our guests from the Gondorian Architect Exchange Service for the new lore hall they've built that doesn't match anything else in town, but my, is it a cultural center of activity for our burgeoning scholars.
Well, that's good. I mean, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I don't know why they did it in the first place. They should have left the outside be,
I would guess
congruent with the rest of the town.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, if you're an artist and you're throwing this together and you've got all this
That's
Gondorian texture packs sitting at your disposal already, it's just real easy to just go, Gondor,
Well,
Gondor,
that's true.
Gondor,
You
woohoo!
probably just copied and pasted it. Building it.
It's like, you get a Gondorian opera house, and you get a Gondorian opera house, and you get a Gondorian opera house. Sweet. I want a Gondorian opera house.
All right, and of course we have the fix to the save bug, which I'm sure is going to make something. Oh, that's right. The separate World Trade and LFF channels.
Yeah, some nice little
quality.
quality of life doodads and knickknacks. So I think it'll be cool to see how it all plays out.
Right, so not a major update, but has quite a number of nice minor changes. So let's then head into our store sales. And is there anything really exciting on sale this week?
Well, quest packs, but before I get there, this week's free sample is plus 5% attack damage for 90 minutes times 1. Use coupon code MOREBOOM one time per account.
More boom.
More boom. Yeah, I love the new coupon codes, by
Me
the way.
too.
They're
I think
pretty
that's
great.
awesome.
25% off quest packs, Mithril coins, woohoo! 100% XP boost, which not that great because they drop from Hobbit presents all the time. Usually on my capped characters where I don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, but you'll need them in a few. You'll need them when.
Well,
Order
I
comes
don't
out.
use them for those characters, but I ship them off to my alts because you never run out of those for your alts. And the Max Morale and Power Scrolls, which also drop by the zillions in Hobbit presents for me. But woohoo, quest packs and Mithril coins. I bought Mithril coins.
Aha.
Yeah, there was somebody who was taking advantage of quest packs this morning on the free-to-play stream, and I was like, sweet, I don't need any right now, but I'm glad it was there for you.
So what do you do with your Mithril coins? Do you use them as teleport devices, or do you use
I
them for
use them
something else?
for teleport to get through Volume 1.
Ah.
That's
That's-
how I've managed to complete Volume 1 as many times as I have.
I
That's
also
not a
use
bad
for
idea.
in-league stuff on my hunt. If my hunter doesn't have a guide, then I have her zip someplace doing in-league deliveries.
That makes sense. I tend to use them for quickies, like, oh, I don't have that stable mount unlocked yet.
Yeah, I do
Quick
that too.
travel.
Yep.
It might explain why my character that has the most milestones happens to be the Bjorning that actually did all of Volume 1. It might not be a coincidence, yes.
Probably not a coincidence. Yeah, I would totally buy that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I use them for quick travel. But I do not use them to teleport from the bottom of the stairs in Thorin's Hall to the top of the stairs.
Wow.
Especially on a hunter.
That's something.
Gussie Moose.
Why, did she do that on purpose?
On a hunter?
She forgot she was a hunter and had a
Oh.
port to the top of the stairs.
Yeah, that's
And she-
frustrating when you realize you just did that. You're like, oh.
I'm like,
Oh.
but. It's an egregious misuse of Mithril coins.
Yeah.
Gold and silver and copper will take you many places in Middle Earth. For everything else, there's Mithril coin.
Let's then head into our site news, and we'll begin with the community events for February 3rd through the 9th. And anyone found anything that they found particularly interesting?
As usual, there's
Shout
some
out at
really
once.
I didn't
cool
look, to be
stuff.
totally honest.
I continually enjoy the creativity that different folks come up with graphics and GIFs and images for their events. There's this really cool, like, semi-metal looking one called Thunderstruck. It looks like a bunch of hobbits and they're about to jam out. It always cracks me up. The different kind of bits and pieces people throw together. It's really cool. A lot of creativity.
See, I hear hobbits and jam, and all I can think is cookies.
Oh, dude, pie. Is a Hobbit jam section a sticky affair? Absolutely.
Right. If you want to see details, you could go to our community events calendar and look on there. And a new community events calendar is posted each Friday. So if you want to know what's coming up on the weekend, I suggest you check out Friday's post. Next, we have a tour of lore, and we are beginning at our first major area in Breeland, where they are looking at Archet and the dale around Archet. And they go pretty thoroughly on this. And this is Forte's, and unfortunately he's not here today, so he can't talk about his little bit of creation here.
So, well, it's nice. I took a look through it earlier. There's some nice screenshots. It gives you the map, the surrounding area, some nice overviews, and it just kind of goes through a variety of different things. There's references to like heraldry and ruins and all kinds of fancy things, various different. It's almost as if somebody took cliff notes through a Corey Olsen tour through, and then took snapshots and then wrote some stuff down. You know, but I mentioned that because there's a specific snapshot of like the Arnorian scepter with the Arnorian stars, and I'm thinking, man, I'll bet you I've heard something about that before. Dr. Olsen's stream. Yeah, it's pretty nice, and there's links to YouTubes and stuff, so. I think it's cool. It'd be definitely something to check out if you're really into how the lore has been adapted into LOTRO.
Yes, and next week they will be continuing with, or at least next week they'll be continuing on with 1.2, where they're going to go up into Combe. So I presume they're going to go through each of the sections of Greenland.
That would be neat. I remember the first time I played this game. I played a Guardian, and I walked into the Arcade Dale, and I was like, this place is huge. I don't even know where to go, and there's wolves and all spiders, and I think I probably spent 3 hours just trying to get across the Dale, because I was such an MMO noob. Now it's like, Dale? Yeah, 30 minutes. I'm out.
Oh, yes, but I'm sure your wife has trouble with all those spiders there.
She doesn't like them. She still doesn't like him. It's still quite amusing whenever she goes into one of those areas by herself and I happen to be listening.
All right, let's then head into the Family Line Part 120, The Threat from the North.
Did we actually read this to figure out what the threat from the North is? Because it's got a distinctly orcish look, according to the screenshots
Spoilers.
here. Gee, you're in the North Downs. What other kind of threat from the north would there be? I guess there could be a marauding army of worms, or spiders, or Nazgul, or whatever. Agmarim, or Hillman, or yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that could come from the north in North Downs. So, yeah, trolls. They've got trolls. Yeah, those forums are rough.
Right, and then also in the theme of lore, there's a lot of lore of this stuff, I guess, because of Corey Olsen's little course there, because we have Lily Kate, who is posting Exploring Lord of the Rings, Gandalf and the Great Ring.
Oh yeah, that was was it last week's?
Well, that was episode 5.
Episode 5, yeah, it was last Tuesday. Yeah. We're finally into chapter 2.
I know, right?
Episode 5, right. Next week's going to be fun because we're going to go to Goblin Town. So, you know, like we've had all these low levels folks that have come for the class, and this is going to be on Brandywine, and now we're going to Goblin Town. So it's like I had to put on the board, y'all. You need to be if you've started an alt on Brandywine just for the class, you have to be at level 25 because we can't summon you, we can't muster you, nothing, and we definitely recommend that you not try to ride there on your own. So hopefully people are leveling up.
Right, because he The only thing you can do, well, at level 10, you could take the Gandalf Express to get to Rivendell.
Yeah, and then
Rivendell,
you'd have to do
but
a marathon
you'd
to
have
get
to get
across.
you'd have to go, well, you'd have to go to Glowin's. You know, you could get to Hrimbarg. I mean, you could get as far as that if you're willing to mithril or
Yeah.
slow ride, I guess. But you still got to make that ride across the plain there to get up into Mountain's Throat, where all the wargs and orcs are. It could be
And
done, I
if
guess.
you're too far under, you wind up with
Have to place after you.
Exactly.
you know,
Super
half the land
aggro. Oh, it's
your-
fresh
Yeah.
meat.
Taking your blood, yeah.
Yes,
Meat,
actually.
meat,
You'd end up
meat.
with this conga line behind you as you come roaring into Glowin's camp outside
Hey.
Mountain's Throat.
Warg Congo
So
line.
anyway.
Can you imagine?
And then the
Anyway.
question is there a minimum level for going inside of Goblin Town?
I don't think so.
Well, it's an open world
This is an
area.
open entrance.
It might give you a big old nasty. This is an extremely dangerous zone.
I mean,
Red
as soon as
flag,
you get
but
into that area, it's going to be like this is very high level for you, because you
Right.
get that when you cross the last bridge and go into the troll shaws.
Right.
yeah.
There are occasional open world places that say you need a minimum level, but yeah, they are the exception to the
Yeah,
rule
that's
very
true.
much.
That's true.
Yeah, but I don't think. Didn't they have some event, didn't they, in Gollum's Cave some years ago, where they had to run people there and stuff? I mean, it was open for. I mean, they had like really low level folks going.
Oh, okay.
So I
Yeah.
think that it's.
Can you
I'm
imagine
gonna
having
have
to run
report today.
escort duty through Goblin Town?
Oh, I
Trying to
know.
make sure you take all the right turns.
God. Well, that's why I'm going to have to go and remember how to get there. I know as soon as you get to the level where it's just a straight shot back to the throne room, then that's no problem. I can get to Gollum's Cave. But it's getting to that straight shot. I have to remember how to do it.
It's basically you go down and you go down
going
and you
down.
don't veer to the left or right. You just keep to the center passageway and keep going down.
And just keep
Fighting
going
you.
down.
Yep, that's how you get down there.
Okay.
Gollum's Cave is
Well, that's
actually
easy.
pretty easy to get to. It's the other stuff
That's good.
stuff
Yeah.
in Goblin Town that's a real pain. I just did it
Right.
about 2 weeks ago on my Bjorning, and I'm not gonna lie, I pulled up the brassy map.
Oh, yeah, I
I
can't do
need
that
the
brassy
map,
map.
dude. Forget this.
Absolutely.
I got all of Bilbo's buttons though, so that was awesome.
Yeah, that's always a accomplishment for me when I do it. Yeah, anyway, so that'll be fun, and it's going to be just for everybody to know, if you're listening to this before the class and you want to do it. The kinship on this coming Tuesday for number 6 is a European kinship, so we're doing it at 3 p.m. server time instead of the usual 9:30, in deference to the fact that it's a European kinship that's hosting, and we don't feel like we want them to stay up until the middle of the night. So
That's cool.
All right. Then let's head into our new player question of the week. And Maven, what's up?
okay, you guys, I'm really counting on you for this. So.
Uh-oh.
This is honestly
This is a
question for me,
personal
'cause I
one.
got so frustrated on this. I logged a ticket, but unfortunately I couldn't stay in game long enough for them to respond. So they haven't gotten back to me yet. Okay, so my LIs are ready for imbuement. Okay. So I took advantage of the store sale that had the legacy scroll replacement scrolls they've had. I think it's still on sale through tonight. So that there's just a few legacies I want to switch out on both weapons to get the legacies I want before I imbue. So the scrolls don't have an upper level limit. I selected a replacement for the correct weapon, because it's like either the book or the staff, and so I could tell the difference, and I knew I had the right weapon. I selected a minor legacy to replace a minor legacy, because I know that's important. And the new legacy would only come in at rank 2, and my old legacy is beyond rank 2, so I figured that's not an issue because I'm taking the hit for getting a lower rank. But the system won't let me do it. When I pull up when I click on the scroll and I get the little screen of all my LIs, my first age, or the one that I want to imbue, doesn't show up on the list, and I don't know why. Any ideas?
You're using a legacy replacement scroll?
Yes, from the store.
I thought a legacy replacement scroll was something you put on imbued items.
No, that's an
No, you can do it
legacy
pre-imbuement.
replacement scroll.
Okay.
So a legacy
I guess I've
replacement
never
scroll
used
is
one.
basically the same as the things you get off your LI when you break it down. You know how when you
Okay.
deconstruct one,
Yeah.
it says
I guess I've never used a store
it's that.
one.
It's that same thing. Yeah. So it's that same. So it's as if I had done that. Let's just say that. Let's do that. Okay. So I don't want it. So I don't confuse you. So I have this legacy replacement scroll. It's a minor legacy. I want to take out a minor legacy, replace it with this new minor legacy, and it won't let me do it. I can't figure out why. I don't understand why.
And you're sure it's not already on the item?
Positive. Absolutely positive. No ideas, huh? I can't
Well,
think. I mean,
right.
I've logged it because I just don't understand
Let me
why.
see. Scrolls don't. The scrolls you have doesn't have an upper limit, right?
Right.
Okay. And you selected
For the correct weapon, because
right.
you know, for my book or for my staff. So I made sure the legacy that I wanted was for my staff.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the legacy that you're trying to replace, the little legacy says weapon legacy, correct?
Right. Exactly.
And
It says weapon.
the legacy is the correct level?
The legacy is the correct. Well, I think so. I mean, what level
Well,
would it need to
store-bought
be?
ones, yeah, I think
It's a
store-bought
store-bought
ones
one.
are, I think, should be unlimited unless you.
Yeah. It just has a minimum level. The
No,
minimum level is
not
51.
the
But
scroll, the actual legacy that you pulled off of the old weapon.
Oh,
I didn't pull a legacy off the old weapon. This is a
Well, then-
legacy, a replacement scroll from the store.
You have to have a legacy that you're going to replace it with.
Yeah, and that's on my first stager, and it's like
Yeah,
rank.
but you have to have like the legacy that you're going to replace it with. You have to have that too. So you have your weapon, you have the legacy replacement scroll. You also have to have the new legacy that goes on it.
That doesn't make sense to me. Why would I get a legacy replacement scroll? Why would I need a legacy replacement scroll if I already have the legacy from another weapon? I would just
At
put
least
that
I
on.
think so. I could be wrong. I don't
yeah,
play
because
around with those scrolls
yeah.
too often.
Oh, because before imbuement, yes, you do not need anything. The legacy is all you need. You don't need a legacy replacement scroll in order to do it.
Yeah, well then I don't know.
And, yeah, because
Yeah, it
I've
doesn't
never
make
had
sense. I just
trouble
don't understand why
because
I can't do it.
because I
Wouldn't
was
that be a
doing
kick in
because
the
I was
britches?
prepping. I was prepping an imbuement just yesterday, and I had absolutely no trouble whatsoever in replacing because there was one legacy I wanted to replace before I did my imbuement.
But did you do that from a deconstructed weapon, or did you do it from a stored legacy
Oh,
scroll?
I did that from a deconstructed weapon.
See, I've had the same problem with deconstructed weapons too, to tell you the truth.
Gumsgang asked from chat, "What's the skill on the scroll?"
What's the what?
The skill on the scroll.
Oh, I don't remember now.
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
it's
I
a
think
minor
if you-
legacy. I mean, it's minor to minor, so it's.
Yeah, I'd say a couple of screenshots probably would make it easier to answer the question because
All right.
otherwise it's going to
Well,
be
I mean,
all guesswork.
Is there something other than major and minor? I mean, is there another level of detail that I need to be? I mean, major, minor on the weapon as opposed to the book. As far as I know, there's no other level of detail beyond that, right?
As far as I know, it's major or minor.
Right.
And
I know there's ranks, but like I said, the new one is a lower rank than the old one. So
well,
I
the
would think it
rank
would be an
doesn't
issue.
matter. It's just the new one's always going to be ranked 2 no matter what. So.
Okay.
Unless, of course, it's a. Well, I would say it's going to be rank 2 unless it's an ability score because those I think would come in rank 4. But yeah, it's
I mean, I
2
guess
if
my
it's
other
a-
choice is to save all these other characters and go in while the sale's still on and buy a couple of imbued legacy replacements. Go ahead and imbue the weapons and then switch out the legacies. But then if I had a problem, then I'd really be ticked off. So yeah, so I'm stumped. I mean, everybody I've asked so far has been stumped, and I've logged a ticket. I just have to get back into the game on the character so that they can respond to me. So if I find an answer and I figure out what it is, I'll let you guys know next week.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Sounds weird.
That's
It
odd.
does sound weird. Okay.
And they wonder why.
I'll let
I'm
them
not
know that I
listening
have
to them.
unanimous agreement from everybody I've spoken to that it's odd.
Yes. But as I said, it something like that might help if we had a screenshot or two, so we could at least. Something might spark if there was something missed, and it
Yeah.
might be a bit more obvious if we saw what was going on rather
Well, I
than.
may do that. I
Read
may send it
description.
even just to you guys or something. I don't know, or put it up on the. I'll write an article for
An article.
don't know.
You know
So
what I find interesting about that comment there, Pine Leaf, is that you said
Yeah.
something might spark, and I thought it might be ironic if she was trying to replace like a lightning or a fire damage.
I may have been actually. Now that I think of it,
You know,
don't
just
remember
spark
now.
your interest.
I'll have to look when I get back into the character. Okay. Well, anyway, so stay tuned, listeners, and I will see if I can find out the answer, and I will report back.
All right. Then let's head into our weekend, Lotro and Maven. What were you doing when you weren't fighting against?
When you weren't fighting with them, Kissy.
When you were fighting with legacies, yes.
So I've decided that Glordrail, my 105 hunter, needs to get her virtues up. She's not a very virtuous elf.
Oh.
So one of the things that I did this last week was I ran her solo around Uragar multiple times so I could complete the deeds there. You know, there's all this Uragar specific things. And I gotta admit, it was really fun to run around there and get revenge for all the time, for the times that I went in there on level. Carve, was it you that took Corey and I into the warg pens? I can't remember if it was you, because you took us around Angmar a whole bunch. And I do remember somebody taking us into Uragarth. It was when Corey was like, no, I must do my class deeds. I must go and do the quests instead of buying them at the skirmish camp.
I might have. I've taken a bunch of folk in there.
He doesn't do that anymore, but
I
this
am
was
not
the first
surprised.
time.
Yeah. You know,
So
you do it right way the first time. Then afterwards, you're like, okay,
That's right.
been there, done
And it's
that.
like,
Buy the T-shirt.
you know,
Morks and
forget it.
medallions at the skirmish camp, boys.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. So anyway, so it was really fun to run around there and kill all those things unaware. But I have to admit, the first time I did it, Lagmas, actually Lagmas and I died at the same time. The main reason was I got really cocky, and when I went, you walk in and you pull the whole courtyard when you first walk in the door of his area. I don't mean up where he is, but down below. And I didn't realize that. So I smacked, a troll that was in one group, and I figure, okay, there's like 4 or 5 of those guys. I can handle those guys. The whole courtyard came at me.
Whoa.
And I lasted, and I actually did kill them all. But I didn't wait for my morale to go up. So I was really cocky. So I didn't wait for my morale to restore, and I took on Lagmas. And right as he died, I died. I'm like, well, that really blows. So anyway,
is that the
second time
the troll
through, I was
courtyard,
smart
right?
and did it better. Yeah, right
Yeah,
down below where
yeah.
his place is. Yeah. And then I didn't realize that when I kill him, then his birds are not killable, which was I needed the beast deed. So that was a waste.
Oh, that
I guess I
part,
need to
okay,
keep the guy
yeah.
alive, right? Because doesn't he activate those birds
Yeah,
as
he
you fight him?
does. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I was too bloodthirsty, and I killed them too fast, and then they weren't killable. I figured I could kill them after, but
Yeah.
they weren't killable. Urgh! It's like I did that the second time through on the warg pens. First time through I killed everything too fast.
Yeah.
Second time through I took a long time to kill the main warg
Yeah.
because more wargs would come and I'd be able to get
Mhm.
more beasts. Same, and then the warg keeper, same thing. So
Yep.
anyway, just keep a note of that, guys. If you go in to do the deeds in Uragarth, pace yourself on the bosses.
Get yourself somebody who's crunchy and just let them get wailed on.
Yeah, exactly. So I co-commentated today the Hobnanigans tournament with Forte, and it was lots of fun. I brought along my frying pans, and actually Forte and I ended up having a pretty major debate with Gussie Moose. We were asserting the fact that the chickens actually like being hockey pucked around. Forte was asserting that it helps them lay eggs better, and I said, yes, that's why I have my frying pans. My frying pans are not for chickens. It is for frying eggs. Because eggs go with bacon. You would never have chicken and bacon, but you would eggs and bacon as a good hobbit. But she wasn't buying it, and we're afraid at the championship she may lead a protest march of chickens. So anyway, that was fun.
Well, I would think
Okay.
the chickens would appreciate it because that's their moment in the sun. I mean, that's
It
it.
is.
They're in the spotlight.
I said, well, do you notice that the chicken never does leave the playing field?
Yeah.
And it comes back for more. So
I'll bet
obviously
you those
they
chickens
enjoy
train
it.
hard in all of
I
that
think they
cross-country
do.
running from Sanson,
Doo-doo-doo,
specifically for
doo-doo-doo.
Hobnanigans Pro
That's right.
Sports.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And they run up and down the steps like Rocky. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah,
And then
just
I
that.
lost
Caliber of
count
chicken
of the
to be in
how many
Hobnanigans.
times today Forte said, because he's doing the Pine Leaf Countdown for the game, that he said, I lost count of how many times he said Pine Tree Countdown. I finally said, okay, it's a drinking game. When he says Pine Tree, everybody drink.
I'm sure there would have been a lot of really happy people at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, we would have been seeing triple in the game. And then afterwards, I relaxed by by going into the Sutcrofts because one of my alts needs Rittermark Skarn, so I took Maven, the lore master, through and did some Sutcroft mining of ore. But while I was at it, I figured I would deed there too. So I listened to the melodious jangle of my war steed's halter while I beheaded orcs through the fields. It was a little bit strange, actually. I felt kind of like something out of a Twilight Zone show or
It's like
something.
a Kubrick film
jingle,
or
jingle,
something.
jingle, slap, smack. Because there's this.
Slash.
The lore master has a war steed skill called Metal and Metal, METAL and METTLE, and it's like at that level of mob, it's a one shot. I just like walk, right up to them and just hit it, and they just die.
Nice.
And it makes a metallic sound. So it's like jingle, jingle, jingle. It was great. Corvette, how about you?
Best sounds.
Huh? Those are the best sounds. Yeah, well, being a champion, absolutely. You would totally agree with that. Corvette, how about you?
Oh man, I was reminded that 4Kill is big, really big. This week, running my Bjorning basically from the starting forested part up through the ice canyons and then bouncing back and forth between the Dwarven Fortress and that second place is like Pedot or something.
Pinty Peldot.
That's the one, Pinty Peldot. Running back and forth between the Zagilligund and Pinty Peldot is just, oh my gosh, I forgot how big 4Kel really is. I mean, it's just wide open, frozen spaces, and I had a personal vendetta to kill every Grim I saw because I didn't want to deed them later. And I also was reminded, like you, Maven, that it's important to look at your morale bar before you pull the mobs. Because there were several times where I'm like, it's just, 3 or 4 on level kitty cats. I can take them. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. So that happened a few times today. And there was a couple of times where I was like, I knew that was a rare elite, or I knew that was a elite meant for a small fellowship. But I'm like, I'm a OP furball. I can take it. Maybe. A couple times I defeated, but that was okay. It was fun. And then, of course, as the day wore on, I fell victim to the MMO trap, which is just one more quest. Just one more quest hub. I'll stop after just one more. And then it's like, just one more. Okay, well, I'll go to this other place and talk to this one guy, then I'll be done. Oh, they want me to go here. And yeah, 5.5 hours later, okay, I'm done. I need to stop. That was my morning. But beyond that, Terry Adwin, how was your week?
My week was pretty good, actually. I led the girls of Middle-earth around Evandim and... Not Forakel. I put Forakel because Carve had Forakel. Evandim and the Misty Mountains looking for roving threats. Well, we missed one in Evandim because we could not find it anywhere. Because I have a roving threat plugin that somebody referred me to, so I used that during girls, which is great because it has all the coordinates, so I can tick different coordinates and people can go check them. So we rode around in a big group looking for the roving threats, and we found 2 of the 3, and the third one just could not be found anywhere. So we split up because there were 3 not hunters and 5 hunters in this 8-person group.
Wow.
So we split into 4 different groups and
we
did
were whooshing all over the place.
Quadrants of groups, and Evandim was like, okay, you and you go here, you and you go there, and I made sure each group had a hunter so we could all port back to Tinadir at the end. And yeah, could not find it anywhere. And then last night on Arkenstone, I was running my hunter through some Evandim questing, and I got run over by the roving threat that we had missed earlier in the week.
The irony. Oh, there you are! No, I'm not ready for you!
And I saw it coming toward me, and I'm going, oh crap, it's headed for the trap that I just laid down. Because I had been in a fight with another mob, and you know how sometimes as a hunter you get the trap off after the mob's already dead and you're left with a leftover trap, and I'm like, yeah, and it aggroed the thing and it came after me and I went splat. And I'm desperately trying to figure out which skill is my desperate flight. I'm like, I know it's around here somewhere. Nope, not that one. Nope, it's not that one. And then I did some low-key skirmishing responsibly with Langevall Terry, who is only 6 skirmishes away from getting her Skirmisher of Middle-earth title.
That is
Sweet.
I completed 2 more skirmish deeds last night.
Awesome.
Let's skirm on Thursday. Skirm on Thursday.
I can do skirms on Thursday. I actually did skirming on Thursday, but with the other
I know you did.
other champion, because he needs to get back in his groove.
Right.
So, Pineleaf, how was your week?
All right, we'll begin with the field trip, where we continued along with the epic story all the way up to the Deepway skirmish. And in this case, our minstrel, I guess I didn't make it clear that when you are a minstrel, it's a good idea to switch to healing stance if you're doing a 6-player skirmish.
With only 5 people? Yeah.
With
Those,
only 5 people, yep.
it's a lot of fun listening to them on Fridays because it's sounds very similar to me on Sundays with girls, only it's Pine Leaf is the one trying to do the herding of cats.
Yes.
I believe it.
Right. So this is Deep Way. So there was a point where I was asking for healing when one of our first lieutenants was, I think, like a frigid squall. Oh, actually, I think the frigid squall, or maybe primordial rats. Some really one of those really nasty grims coming in, and they're sucking away my morale like crazy. And it's okay. I could use some healing now. Healing. Never mind.
Healing? What? Healing. Oh, the green bar stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. To a minstrel who was in dissonant stance at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did manage to get collected, and we were better off in the latter parts of the skirmish. But the skirmish started out on a pretty rocky course on there. Then, of course, we also started opening up all these 6-player skirmish lieutenant deeds that a lot of them haven't had opened yet. Then on my Crick Hollow champion, I was running several skirmishes. I reached level 102. So I'm starting to get up there on that one because I'm trying to see if I can get up to 105, of course. And I was doing this during the champion roundtable. We were recording this episode on there, and of course I had the champion up so I could reference it whenever we had a question on the matter. And I was at one point running Assault on the Ringwraith's Lair. And of course I lost count to how many counterattacks we had. So we had the second counterattack, and for some reason I thought, okay, I'm done. I went on down.
Oh no.
And then I see the bar pop up. A lieutenant has joined the battle. Oh, yeah, I forgot the third assault.
Oh, no.
So I'm running back up to the... now, this was a Deathmonger and a Bloodrook.
Ugh.
Oh,
If you're fighting a Deathmonger and a Bloodrook, which one do you attack?
Deathmonger.
The Deathmonger, of course. Well, of course, our old friend the elf, of course, felt that it was her bounden duty to attack the Bloodrook. So I'm seeing her fighting the Bloodrook and not touching the... So I had to go there, grab them from her, and I don't know how she managed to stay alive on that one, but... I managed to save her from that. At least in Assault on the Ringwraith's Lair, all they do is if they do get below the threshold, is they say, "Oh, I'm too tired. You finished off." So it's not quite as bad. It's not like you lose the skirmish if one of them gets hurt or anything like that. Then, the third highlight I have isn't something I was doing, but I was watching Stine's, well, the YouTube version of Stine's most recent stream. And she was doing Survival Barrel Downs. So the first time it was... You can imagine the first time trying Survival Barrel Downs, the usual, all the weird things go wrong, and then second time all things go wrong. Then they were going, of course, updating the character to make sure they had everything. One of the characters left, and then another one comes in. And the one who joined in was a burglar. And at first the burglar was saying, "Oh, wait a minute, I heard that burglars are suboptimal, so maybe I should leave it." She said, No, I never throw anyone out for being a suboptimal class or anything like this. And it was the guard, she was a minstrel, and the burglar, those three together then managed to go the 60 minutes.
Nice. That is awesome.
Yeah, that is
the dream team, though. When you think about it, the mini can get power restores. The guard is this ultimate tanky, and the mini's like heal bot. I could totally see that. Between the Berg and the Lore Master, I think that's like the dream team.
That's right, because of the power.
Yep. As long as you can keep your guard fueled up, and the mini keeps healing them, and the mini has power, you're good to go.
Now, I do know that they were trying, I believe they were doing the deed to not use fellowship maneuvers.
Ooh. Well, I
Yeah,
though in
I
yellow.
believe I believe they completed that. I believe they did complete that deed.
That's cool. Well, in yellow, the burglar does have the ability to remove tricks and do power restores, so I could totally see that.
Yes, you're right. There is that one because
It looks really cool too.
yeah. So anyway, they got through the full hour on it, and that
Nice.
was that was really. I think that's the first time I ever actually watched someone do a full hour one,
I give it a golf
and
clap.
I think the last time I remember people posting something like this was back in the days when you said you needed this exact group in order to do this. You have to have this.
You want to have
they
a
didn't have
warden
any
who
of that
can
stuff.
kite the
Yes.
whole thing around the mountain, and as they come around the mountain, you unload on it, and he does conviction, and then you run around the mountain again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The first two times they were doing the two that failed, they were seeing how long they can go without killing any lieutenants. Because there is a D for that. There is a D for going
Wow.
to go a half hour without killing any lieutenants, and that's a tough deed.
So when the LOTRO folks were designing this, they were like, "How can we torment our player base?" They want to talk about let's put some leet deeds in this already like tormentuous type instance.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome.
And of course, it's interesting watching Stina, and she has this teacup, as she refers to it. It looks like a normal teacup, except the fact that it's about the size of a chalice. And I think that she must have gotten good luck from the chalice of tea for the skirmish. Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's like that. It was like a giant teacup being used by a hobbit.
That's awesome.
And that, I think, is it for my week in LOTRO.
Cool.
So, anyone wish to plug anything for our News Beyond LOTRO?
I do, Pine Leaf. I do.
You do?
I have been having a ton of fun on Signal Muse channel on Thursday nights running a Adventures in Middle-earth, which is Dungeons & Dragons Middle-earth game set between the time of The Hobbit and the time of The War of the Ring. With Erithert and Raylenial and Mrs. Carve and another friend of ours named Becca. And we've just been having a lot of fun kind of escorting a merchant across Mirkwood roleplay style on Twitch. Doesn't matter what the venue is, Mrs. Carve hates spiders. So we're in Mirkwood and spiders happen and she reacts and it's very entertaining. To plug next week's episode, we've just tracked our merchant friend who got kidnapped by a spider because he ran off in the woods because he went a little crazy. And now we found him bundled up, suspended high above a ruin that is covered with spider webs. And that's where we ended the episode. So there's going to be all kind of hijinks next week. And so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But that's on Thursday nights, 8:30 Eastern Time on Signal Muse Twitch channel.
All right. Our top supporter on Patreon is Onishi, who is an officer of the Sons of Numenor on Langeville. We currently have 22 supporters on Patreon, and if you'd like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. This week, we did not receive any emails, but if you'd like to email us, you can send it to podcast at LOTROplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, LOTRO Players at LOTRO Players, Forte at Forte_Maestro, Carvette at Carvette LP, Maven at Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Niels, and Terry Adwin at Terry Adwin. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Note that Drac is currently having a family emergency, so there might be a couple of weeks off before we return to that. But when it returns, it will be at Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. On Thursdays at 9 p.m. US Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News, and on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Academy After School. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. Thank you everyone for listening, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.